Hey everyone, what's up? This is Mozart checking in. Another update on Bitcoin. So, yesterday my limit order for a long position at $88,000 executed with double the volume. As you know, I also didn't close the long position I took at $97,300 with a single volume. So, in short, what's the worst case scenario for me here? If everything goes wrong and my forecast turns out to be incorrect. Right now, I'm sitting on a loss of just under 1 SP, which means 10% is 1 SP, and that's 2% of my deposit. I've written about this many times, so what does 1 SP mean to me? On the Telegram channel and on YouTube, I've talked about this. So, let's say minus 10 is 2%. I hold it, then minus 20, that's it. That's a loss of 2 SP. I'm losing from the upper position, from the mark of 97,300. This means that I will close the loss of 2 SP plus here at 77. Plus, even if this one hits the stop. That's another loss here, considering it's a double position and if it hits the stop, and the daily closes below the yellow line. I'm going to lose even more here, so that's 2 times 2, which is another 4 SP. So, I apologize, not 4 SP, but 2 SP. So, I've lost 2 from the top, and I'll lose another 2 from the bottom. So, in total, I'm losing 4 SP, and if 1 SP is 2% of my deposit, that means I'm maxing out at an 8% loss on my deposit. That's in the worst case scenario. But then again, if the price reaches here, I will close the 2 upper trades here and open a little on the TracePA. And some of you might think this is a damn martingale. And, to tell the truth, you will be right. But believe me, this is how it works for me, the system. It works well, at least on the Bitcoin wallet. I don't allow that. Either during a downturn or only during a downturn. But there is no proportional increase there. Not based on multiplication. So, whatever I take from the top, that's what I take from the bottom. With altcoins, you can multiply on Bitcoin. So far, none of this has happened. And in any case, even if the worst case scenario happens, the price will drop to 70, like $473,000. I'll close at 100 minus 89, which is even 10% of the deposit. Whatever, who cares about that? So, what's the current situation with the technicals? I mean, yesterday's candle closed. In a way that's not very clear, it just closed. We've been trading since the 3rd of last month, and we're testing this orange, descending, falling channel again. We tested it again. The volume was high, and we closed neutrally, meaning the indicators showed a strong drop at 28 based on the daily RSI and the 4-hour chart. The bigger question now is, are we going to take out this liquidity? Here are the stop losses. They're right here. The main ones we didn't take out. The main ones were here. There was a lot here. There was a lot here. And there was a lot here. We took all of that out, even partially got some here, but we didn't reach the very bottom. If we go here, and I wrote about this in the Telegram channel yesterday, that this option is available. Yeah, now considering what the market has done, it's rewriting some of the scenarios. And now we can even go to 83.85. Here in this range, and bounce like this, drawing a convergence, and everything will already go away with a retest of 93.95. The second option will also depend heavily on today's report on Nvidia. We want to trade a bit here, either with a candle or right away with a quick move, and then we'll trade some more, but we'll still end up going over there. So, that's back to my initial entry point. So, these are the 2 options I'm considering right now. And it's all about taking out this liquidity, well, S4, from last month. That's exactly 83 to 85. There it is. I'm already considering that now. Considering the drop, the strength of the drop that happened yesterday. Yeah, now it looks like this. This market is changing, and I rewrite the scenario every day if something doesn't go according to the plan I initially forecasted. That's normal, and I do that almost all the time. What's important isn't that you rewrite your plans, but how you adapt to them and how you get out of that situation. And, for God's sake, look, right now I have 2 open positions on Bitcoin. Look how I will get out of this, how I will change it. Then you look at a loss, either I will take the profit or I will break even. Please, let's see how this turns out in the end. There is nothing definite from this series of events at 4 o'clock in the century. The drop is strong, but there are no convergence indicators yet. Nothing is changing here. The same options. Either we do it this way, and we trade like this here and move up. Either we walk like this, we update. And then we go up. This is roughly the option we have right now. I see. How low we will get there if we update this low, I can't say. Objectively. About that way. Objectively. With the injection of this liquidity, we will remove all of this S4. Maybe we'll even be close to the 200 moving average. To the 200. I can't say for sure right now. I can't know, unfortunately, but I can know what I'm going to do, and I'm showing that to you. This, as far as technology is concerned, by the way, now many people see this head with shoulders, it's even closed. By the way, speaking of which, yesterday the candle closed right there. They served Nishi. And here it is, the control. Neckline has been running since January 13th. We closed under it. But in markets like this, head and shoulders patterns, yeah, they don't always play out. But they happen less often than false breakouts. Maybe if it really is a head and shoulders pattern, we'll go and target around 76, maybe $77,000, or even 75. I'm just going to rewind a bit to remind you how it was before. So, it was pretty much the same here. They were saying the same thing. This is our spring, summer of 2024. Here you go. There's also a double top, at the top. There was also a double peak there. I misspoke, not a head and shoulders. That is, they also closed the neckline. So here, with high volumes like this, just look at what happened next. It tends to work out like this much more often than the whole pattern playing out, although again, I don't rule out that the entire pattern could still play out. We can't rule that option out right now. The fact is, the close is there, and we work with what we have. I'm just giving you the stats. That's what I was talking about with the technicals. Now let's take a look at the most interesting part. The volume of liquidations from net winners yesterday averaged nearly $140 million. This is without considering leverage. Just so you know, CoinGlass shows liquidations considering leverage. Here, without considering leverage, it's the net washed out money from the market, $140 million. That's more than after the drop. December 20, more. That's more than after the drop. February 3rd. And this is within the current sideways market after Trump's victory. And if we dig a little deeper. So, this is the largest liquidation since August 5th. August 5th, I think everyone remembers. The largest liquidation. That's about Bitcoin. Next. Total entity adjusted realized lost exchanges. We have this. The realized loss that was transferred on the exchange. Among all blockchain players. Without separating short-term and long-term holders. Yesterday, it totaled $255 million. To understand what this is, to put it in perspective, this is also the largest transfer. The volume of losses on the exchange since August 5th. So, in this last visible time frame, it's already May, where the market is relatively strong. May. Even during the FTX crash in November 2022, there wasn't as much loss-making coins transferred to the exchange as there was yesterday. There was only more in August. So, pay attention to that. This is a very serious and significant liquidation. But here I'm specifically talking about Bitcoin. The finger wasn't as strong. The total liquidation on February 3rd was higher overall than yesterday. And by the way, if I may say, I think I'll briefly go over it. Take a look at the 4-hour chart for Bitcoin and see how it looks. Here's the low from February 3rd, and here's yesterday's low. Compare the lows and see how the altcoins look. Notice the difference. At the same time, regarding the dominance, this is the 4-hour chart for Bitcoin. I think comments are unnecessary here. The altcoins performed much stronger during this drop than Bitcoin. That says a lot. Much stronger. Next. The same thing. The number of coins transferred to the exchange at a loss is only in the context of short-term holders. In the past year, they have more fluctuations than the market overall. We need to smooth this out. I'm not going to smooth it out. We're just looking at the peaks. The same volume was transferred, I think, on December 5th when martial law was declared in South Korea. Well, and accordingly, August 5th, in the last. And then, something similar happened after the Iranian attack. Here's April 24th, 2024. So, there's a very large volume of coins transferred at a loss. Next. The same thing. In terms of short-term holders, the coins transferred at a loss, not just to the exchange, but overall across the blockchain. Who the hell knows where they were transferring them? They were all over the blockchain. Activity. Network activity. The same thing. Let's take the last year, starting from March 24th. The extreme. The peak above was only on August 5th. Only on August 5th was there more. Next, the current number of coins and losses for short-term holders has surpassed 3,220,000. Coins, losses, 3,220,000 Bitcoins are currently in losses. I'm not even going to take that. In the last year, that's higher than August 5th. I'm going to take it straight from the bear market starting in 2022. The current value of coins and losses. It's even higher than the peaks after the Chinese ban in May 2021. Even higher. It was only higher one time, as far as I can see, right here from the last 3 cycles. We had about the same amount back in 2019. And it was only higher at the end of the bull run in 2017. Right here. That's it. Before this, it was the largest volume up to this point. This is the largest volume of holdings and losses. Next, I also showed you this metric. This is a 1-year rolling window. So, it's a 1-year window of the average price across all holders. The average fair price, considering the current state of profits and losses. So, we dropped almost to -1 sigma. Yesterday was a low for Bitcoin. To be sure, was it 86,900 or something like that? It even hit 86,000 for Bitcoin at one point, reaching -1 sigma, which is 86,077. So, yesterday we touched on how low this is for a bull market. Even in August, we didn't touch it, although we weren't as close as we are now. The green line is -1 sigma. The same can be said about the last 3 cycles, as well as the current one and the cycle from 2021. We only touched the green line after the Chinese ban, and we traded through it, and we spent quite a long time trading all summer. There are so many of them now. There are no major shocks, like the Chinese ban in May 21st. Right now, we just have a series of events like tariffs, DeFi issues, or the hacking of Weebit, stuff like that. So, back in 2017, we only touched the average fair price line, but we never really reached or made contact with it. Yeah, and we didn't touch it now. We only touched it with a shadow. We didn't trade with our bodies. So, these are very rare events for a bull market. But that happens. And the Fear and Greed Index. Yesterday it was 25, today it's 21. All these events that I'm telling you about and showing from one video to another, it's not just for no reason that I'm doing this. We're closing our long position. I'm not doing all this for no reason. I'm showing you that this mass is building up. It's building up, building up, building up, and in the end, it all leads to a very strong bounce. Very strong. And as long as the market is bullish, as long as we are in a certain price range, as long as there are certain marks that support the market, I don't continue to gain a position. I cancel the stop there at the top, because there, well, it's not like that. I have a big risk. 1 SP is very little for a deposit of only 2%. Well, in my case, I'm adding from the bottom while it's still possible. There are moments when you can martingale, and there are moments when you just can't do that anymore. So, for example, if we go up to this point and then move around here, I definitely won't be martingaling here, of course. That is, for example, if we go here, like this, and we walk here, I definitely won't be martingaling here, of course. Until that happens, all of this just looks to me like a strong correction, which, by the way, has already reached 22% from the peaks, and that's a lot given the current liquidity. And, plus, there's the game of probabilities. Here's my trading approach. It's a combination of technical analysis, blockchain analysis, probabilities, and my own psychology. These are the 4 factors that I combine. It's very difficult to explain to people why and how it works. I'm not trying to do this, I'm just showing the table specifically and see how it actually works out. You don't need to ask too many questions or overthink what and how. There is a table, there is a general diagram of transactions from January 1st, conditionally, 2024, that is, already more than a year, 1 year and 2 full months. Look at it, it shows all my profits and all my losses. Just to avoid being all talk and having to prove the same thing 10 times. Why? Does this work? Of course, I won't always be making money. Of course, there will be some losses. It's the market. And I'll tell you more. If I didn't lose money in the market, I would never make any, just like that. This is a necessary part of your capital's upward movement. You have to lose money in the market. Basically, you have to share with it at some point. If you don't share, it'll take everything from you. It's all pretty simple. Thank you all. I hope this video was useful for you. It outlined your thoughts and what I plan to do. This was Mozart signing off. Bye everyone.